never set out to write a book. I just said yes to a whisper. This was never part of my plan, it was a reaction. An answer to a voice I couldn't ignore. A presence that I was never going to outrun. And a love that met me in my darkest hours and never let go. What you're about to read didn't come from study alone, it came from stillness. From moments of brokenness, awakening, and deep communion with God. The keys to the kingdom is more than a title. It's a trail of fingerprints. These pages carry the imprint of a God who still pursues, still heals, still speaks, and still transforms. A God who doesn't only wait for you in heaven, but meets you here, right now, in the middle of your mess and misery. My story is in these chapters, but more importantly, I pray you'll find your own. This is a journey of rediscovery of God, of self, of purpose. Not through religion, but through revelation. Not through striving, but surrender. Not through fear, but love. Have you ever wondered who God really is? Or felt like something was missing? Have you ever questioned your worth or your place in this world? In that case, this book is for you. Each chapter is a key. Each moment an invitation. Not to earn something, but to remember what's always been yours. Thank you for opening this book. May it open something in you.
Welcome to the journey. These are the keys. The kingdom is yours.
This is the way. Walk in it. Kenneth Mattison. The keys to the kingdom. A doorway to transformation and revelation. What's this all about? Let me start by being honest with you and true to myself. There has been, and still is, a lot of confusion in the church and in the world beyond the walls of our man-made buildings. This message will enlighten many and transcend religious divides. This is not a new religion. It's not a new God. It's a different way home. I consider this the more colorful, scenic route. We live in a new world and God is ready to give us fresh revelation. We battle with ourselves and with an enemy that has infiltrated every aspect of our lives. He has clouded our understanding and left an entire generation without identity. We need to blaze a new trail for a new generation. This story wasn't inspired by my life, but by his life through me. The world is ready for something real. I refuse to settle for anything less, and because of that, I received even more. For me, this is normal now. God has been showing me his desire to speak to me in new ways. As I've chosen to listen to everything he has to say, I've experienced miracles and visitations from angels. I've battled with demonic forces through physical encounters. I had my first major experience with the Father at a very young age. All of these things and many more have simply been God's way of revealing himself to me. And he continues to do so to this day. We were created for more than what we've allowed ourselves to experience. This story has already been written through my life and through the lives of many others like me. God's story has no beginning and no end, and we have been created in him and through him. I, like you, am one with him. These words may be the ramblings of a crazy man, or they may be something more. That's for you to decide. But let me sum it up with a phrase that most people will probably tell me not to say in a book like this. God spoke, so I listened. Hearing God today isn't very popular in the church and is misunderstood by most of the world. But hearing God is not complicated. This story is about a boy growing into a man through experiencing God. I've been building a relationship with love itself and wrestling with the meaning of it all alongside the one who created it all. The world is experiencing a spiritual identity crisis. That's why we need to fully understand how to communicate with a God who, like the universe, is continually expanding. Once we understand how to listen to him, we understand who we are, who he is, and what he is not. Only then can we truly understand what we're here for. God has been in a box for too long. It's time to uncover the misconceptions and misinterpretations and let God be God. I've been instructed to help the reader understand God through my eyes, through my ears, and through my experiences. I want to hand over the experience itself, not only the ideas about it. I want to write this book as simply as possible, so people can understand we are all one, similar to our oneness with him. If you want to understand what this means, first understand that we are spirit, that we are all connected, and that we can never be separated from each other or from the unconditional love of the one who created us. Second, we don't have all the answers. We must allow ourselves to find truth through experience, not through repeated religious teachings that were merely someone else's revelation. Last, we must let love gauge each action and each idea we manifest, and we will truly awaken to revelation himself and reconnect with our true identities. We must all become seeds willing to be gently placed in the earth so that we can grow and produce the first fruit that will lead to the harvest of a new generation. So what's this really all about? Love. Without love, none of this would be possible. It all started with a loving voice calling out to me saying, "Right." And it was my love for him that gave me the courage to begin. It's as simple as that. Love is the inspiration, the subject, and the force behind everything that follows. This journey is about three things. First, how to communicate with God. Second, how our understanding of him can grow over time through experience. And third, how to answer three important questions. Who is God? Who am I? And what am I here for? God asked me to lead you to those answers by letting you follow in my footsteps, to see the world through my eyes and to listen to his voice in the manner I've become familiar with. It wasn't strange for me to hear God ask me to write his thoughts. When I was younger, my grandmother would spend quiet time with God, writing what he said to her. She would talk with him on paper. Like her, I had done the same a few times in my journal. But I sensed this occasion was unique. Something about this experience was deeper, more involved than anything I had done before. I gently clasped my hands together, rubbed them back and forth, and said to myself, "Okay, let's begin." How hard could it be to answer three minor questions? These three questions are probably only the most frequently asked questions in all of human history. I had been asking them myself for years, and I lacked the answers. But I understood this. If God said I would give the answers, he would first have to give them to me. That alone made things interesting. I was curious. He had my full attention. I was ready. Then it happened. His words met with my faith in his words. That moment of agreement created something inside me, a shift, something miraculous. The answers are not yet written. I could not speak them. I sensed they were already within me, deep down, hidden somewhere in my spirit. My task was simply to find them. That's when I realized this marked the start of a new adventure. A journey toward a new understanding, maybe one I had never known before. Right away, new questions started rising inside of me. Perhaps they weren't new. Perhaps they had always been present, hidden beneath all the religious answers I'd been instructed not to doubt. Questions about God, religion, life, love, hate, heaven, hell, and the list kept growing. I soon realized it was God himself pushing me past the boundaries I was comfortable with. He encouraged me to utter something many are reluctant to confess. I don't know. That realization made me uncomfortable. The more I asked, the more uncertain I became, and the more uncertain I grew. I was being stretched in ways I never expected. My understanding was undergoing revision. I was being emptied of what I had been taught so God could allow me to experience the truth for myself, not imitate what I had learned. This was the moment I began a real dialogue with the creator of it all. Before that, I had wrongly assumed I had most of this God stuff figured out. But now I was standing at the starting line again. In the natural, I felt alone. I lacked awareness of whom to consult. I was unacquainted with anyone who perceived things as I was seeing them. I didn't have anyone to confirm these recent revelations. However God understood what I needed, he precisely articulated my heart's longing. God said, "It doesn't have to be complicated. I will give you the answers to the questions I've caused you to ask. You can subsequently provide them with the solutions as I provided them to you. Take them through it step by step. Let them experience through you what you've experienced through me. You already have the answers inside you, but I need to take you back to the beginning so you can see yourself the way I see you. Once you catch a glimpse of yourself, you will also glimpse me."
That comforted me, even though I was still confused. I lifted my eyes and held on to his word again. So here's my first bit of advice to you. Don't try to comprehend everything I'm about to share with you, using your mind alone. These are spiritual things. Open your heart, let yourself feel your way through this experience, and most importantly, be still and listen.
It's important that we ask questions, communicate openly, expand our understanding, not only of the world, but of the God who created it all. I'm confident in the one who made this dialogue possible. I trust he will give me the right words to awaken love, reveal wisdom, and stir up compassion for those around me. My goal is to help you refine your ability to comprehend, understand, and communicate with God. I want to help you clear out your spiritual ears so you can begin hearing new and powerful truths. This will increase your ability to receive answers to your own questions, not solely after reading this book, but even during the process. And if you finish reading this book and still want to continue the conversation with God personally, you should be properly prepared to do that. It's true. God would always rather speak directly with you. But in this moment, he chose to speak through me. Why? Because I chose to listen. Noticing an actual conversation with God is a breathtaking experience, and it should be a normal part of all our lives. I'm about to give you, in only a few pages, the wisdom learned from a journey that took me a lifetime to walk through. If you're ready to step past the limits of your own understanding and stand here with me on the ledge God has brought us to, let's begin. God gave me this purpose because he sees himself in you, and he's ready to live out his purpose through you. Listen.
And you will hear desire, and you will receive. Move and your world will be shaken. Your love will inspire others. His love will consume you, and through you the world will see him.
Surrender to your yearning for understanding, and wisdom will become life. Your whole life has been leading to this moment. The moment you found yourself by looking into the eyes of your Creator, the Creator who made you in his image. And it is his image that will light the way to your new understanding, a spiritual understanding of your true identity.
Let me start by stating this: you are valuable. You are not nobody. I know the world is consistently trying to convince you that you're less than, that you're not equal to, and that you don't matter. But that equation doesn't add up. It's not God's mathematics, and it's not mine anymore either. I'll be honest, I once found it credible ago, I remember when someone would ask me almost casually, "Who are you?" Instinctively, I would respond with that old worn-out line, "Who, me? I'm nobody." You know what I mean? I'm sure we've all done it. We say it because we've been trained to say it. Let me explain. It may seem harmless, like a figure of speech, but it suggests something much deeper to me. It suggests a representation of our innermost self-perception. We said because our identities remain unclear, not fully, not yet. We've been fed the idea that we need something in order to be something, especially in religion. As someone carrying the Christian label, I was convinced I had to empty myself out completely, become nothing more than a hollow shell. My understanding was that my inner death was a prerequisite for God's presence within me. That approach left me exhausted, constantly trying to change myself just to hold on to God. I lacked self-awareness. I was looking in a mirror, trying to turn flesh and bones into spirit. I was searching the skies, hoping to find heaven in the clouds. I prayed to a God I envisioned in a distant place. But something changed. My understanding changed. And now I want to help you understand too. This might seem overwhelming. You might not fully grasp it yet, but I'm sure that you need to hear it now. It could be one of the biggest and best kept secrets of all time. A truth many search for their whole lives, yet never realize. When this truth finally hit me, the hard shell around my old identity began to crack. Slowly the rubble of condemnation and misconception started to fall away, and my true self began to emerge. Here's the truth. God was with you in the beginning, and He will be with you to the end. He's always been with you. He will never leave you. You're a part of Him, and He is a part of you. Nothing. And I mean nothing can separate you from the love of God. We're about to head into some deep waters, but I want to take you the slow way home. It seems the answers have always been present, easily visible, obscured by misunderstandings and good intentions. Let me tell you a story. It's a story of the old man. There once was an old man, within you he dwelled. He was the man you used to be. He was the one who made all the wrong choices and did all the bad things. People called him the old man, but before that they called him the bad man. One day a new man moved in and the old bad man moved out, or so it appeared. You were happy when the new man arrived. He did good things, made good choices, but the old man kept trying to move back in. You could always tell the difference. Peace came with the new man. The old man brought chaos. Clarity came with the new man. You didn't want the old man anymore. Every method was attempted by you to get rid of him. You told yourself, I'm not him anymore. But the old man didn't leave. Every time he showed up, you tried harder to prove that you were the new man. Frustrated, you finally turned to the old man and said, go away, I'm not you anymore. And the old man replied, I'm not going anywhere. You were never me, and I was never you. Confused, you asked, then why are you here? The old man answered,
I'm here to help you become who you truly are by giving you the chance to experience who you are not. He never left. He's still there. The truth is, you're living with both, but you don't have to change the old man. It's not your job. We spend so much time trying to become something we already are, and we wear ourselves out trying not to be something we were never meant to be. Stop trying. Start being. Be still, and remember who you are. The old man represents every thought, word, or action we allow to influence our consciousness that stands directly against God's nature and purpose for our lives. It is not who we truly are, nor is it our authentic self. Instead, it is an external influence, an echo of past beliefs, negativity, and worldly mindsets that attempts to shape our thinking and distract us from the spiritual truth and divine identity we embody. The old man is not us. It is an adversary seeking to keep us from fully experiencing and expressing the life and purpose God intends for us. Embrace the truth of who you really are and let the presence of the old man become your reminder, not of who you were, but of who you are destined to be. We've grown complacent with only hearing about, reading about, and contemplating God. Now it's time to listen to Him again. It's time to become intimate with love itself. We were created in the image of a Creator, and now it's time to allow ourselves to be recreated. But before we can be made new, we have to know who we are. God has made Himself available to anyone who asks. He is ready to give spiritual wisdom so we can stand in confidence, knowing who we are and why we're here. God has given me the chance to experience His true nature. Through that, He revealed my forgotten identity. I've come to a new revelation about who I am, who God is, and what I'm here for. God wants us to grow in our understanding of the spiritual world and the kingdom of heaven. After all, we're supposed to inherit that kingdom. But how can we inherit something for which we are uninformed of? Jesus said His kingdom is not of this world, so we need to learn how to live from the place that was made for us. It's real. Its existence is beyond this world. It's called the spiritual realm, better known as heaven. And even though this may go against what you've heard, we do not have to wait until we die to experience heaven. Heaven is for now. Heaven is here. And it's possible to live in it. The answers are simple. The revelation is powerful. And if you're completely satisfied with the way your life is right now, put this book down. Because once you cross this threshold, there's no going back. If you continue, you may find yourself in a place you've never been before. Your understanding of God, yourself, and your purpose will never be the same. Revelation is transformation.
You are not a nobody. You are somebody.
What about myself? This is the story of my life, the testimony of God, and what He has allowed me to experience, see, and awaken to. I think the best way for you to understand how I got to where I am is to first show you where I came from. Let me warn you up front. If you're reading this book expecting some polished, literary, intellectually crafted work of art, you may be disappointed. I'm not a highly educated, renowned author who has spent his life carefully arranging words into a masterpiece. I'm not a pastor or an evangelist who spent years behind the pulpit and memorized every chapter and verse. I don't have a seminary degree. I'm not a holy man who's wandered the desert or returned from some soul-searching trip to the Himalayas. I haven't traveled the world or led a large ministry that feeds the homeless or spreads the gospel to the ends of the earth. In fact, I had to come to a place where I finally admitted that I understood very little. I made a conscious decision to no longer accept another man's truth as my own unless it first became real to me through experience or an undeniable sense of spiritual knowing. I am familiar with all the religious answers, the ones we're taught. But I've reached a point where I refuse to keep repeating someone else's interpretation. I want to discover my understanding of God, heaven, spiritual world, and everything in between. And if I can't do that, I'd rather be honest and say, I don't know. Now that doesn't mean the truths I discover will always differ from those already found by others. But when something becomes real through my experience, it leaves a deeper, more lasting impact. It is my feeling that we all must discover our own truth, our own personal understanding of who God is. So here we are, at the beginning of the story I call my life. I've worked with my hands all my life. I'm simply a carpenter. Most days I struggle to take care of myself and my small family. Missing a few paychecks could have me dangerously close to homelessness. Who am I? I'm an ordinary guy. I try to be honest, treat people with respect, and tell them about God when the opportunity comes. I'm someone you might pass on the street or in the park and not even notice, and truthfully, that's usually how I prefer it. I don't enjoy being seen. I only want to blend in. That doesn't mean I've never stood out. There have been moments when I've been in the spotlight, but I'm more of a loner. I value my privacy more than the attention. So for me to sit down and write this story and afterward put it out into the world, that's a miracle in itself. It's not who I naturally am. I usually keep my problems to myself. I've always handled things on my own that seem simpler. But lately something has changed. I've realized that things I once saw as problems are getting easier to carry. My perspective is developing. What you're reading now is the product of a journey that began many years ago. Over time, my understanding has matched the profound intuition I always had that there were answers still waiting to be found. I also sensed that God was leading me into a path that would challenge the status quo. Even though I haven't finished this book yet, I foresee resistance. I still wrestle with my thoughts. I constantly evaluate, reevaluate, and question every word that goes against what I was taught by religion or tradition. But every new experience, every word from God, alters my understanding. And that's okay. I only hope that God can use the words in these pages to awaken others the way He has awakened me, to help even a few of His children discover their true identity. In the beginning, I thought this was going to be a detailed account of all my life experiences. But God quickly corrected me. This isn't your testimony, but mine. He said explaining it was about His life lived through me. He told me not to focus on the bad things, but on the God things that made sense. I could probably write an entire book filled with disappointments and heartbreak, the kind this world hands out all too easily. In fact, I had almost finished writing that book when God gave me the news. And in His perfect, sometimes humorous way, He shifted everything. But I didn't mind. This has been an interesting journey. And honestly, what choice did I have? This is His story. Who am I to tell Him how it should be written? So I'm going to do my best to focus on my personal relationship and experiences with God. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this book, it's a deeper revelation of who your Father God is and who you truly are. I'm going to walk you through what I've learned step by step, exactly as it was given to me. Please be patient as I take you through my belief system, as it continues to shift with every new experience and revelation from the God who is in everything, for everything, and the source of all life. With His grace, I will explain these things the best I can. The more I realized the closeness I shared with God, the more I wanted to hide behind Him, to be in Him, let His nature shine through me. If I'm behind Him, then people have to see Him first. If I'm in Him, they have to look through Him to see me. And if I allow Him to express Himself from within me, I'm transformed through the process. What I mean is, I want Him to do the work. I want to forget about all the ways I fall short so that His ability can be seen by the world around me. It's what helps me better understand the nature of God. But a period existed where I only noticed my failings. I scrutinized every wrong choice and failure like it was under a microscope. When things went bad, it would eat away at me. I grew up in church. I was taught that I had to live a righteous life to avoid the burning pits of hell, and let me tell you, I've never been a fan of the heat. So when I realized I wasn't living up to the standard, or as the church would say, backsliding, I would start judging myself by the rules and standards I had been taught. Not just by religion, but by the world too. I set impossible expectations for myself, ones I was unable to meet. Every time I failed to meet these expectations, I was crushed. I would give up because I felt defeated and without hope. My belief was that I couldn't reach the version of holy that I felt God expected from me. That approach caused me to avoid the church completely. Instead of hiding in God, I tried to hide from Him. Naturally, I understood I couldn't truly conceal myself from God. But shame made me feel too unworthy to be in fellowship with Him. Now, don't get me wrong. We should want to live a righteous life. But understanding how we get there makes all the difference. If we are unfamiliar with our identities or the gifts God has given, we'll end up broken and exhausted trying to live righteously through our own strength. I hope I can help you better understand what God truly expects from us and what He has freely given. Thankfully, God has always known the real me, the one I couldn't perceive. And He has always treated me according to His view of me, not the broken image I had of myself.
My mistakes are many. My life has been no picnic, and definitely not the model of a perfect Christian. But it has been a testimony of God's power, love, and understanding. Some people may relate to my story and some may not, but there is life in it either way. Let me be clear, I don't have all the answers. I can't give you a step-by-step plan to make all the right decisions in your life. I'm not a teacher. I'm just a child who listened to the still, small voice that resonates deep within my eternal identity. If I were to be graded on my life by religious or worldly standards, I'd be found lacking. I've probably made more wrong choices than the right ones, some of which I'm still working through even today. By most people's standards, my life would be labeled a mess. I will not pretend otherwise. There have been times I was utterly lost and yet somehow found at the same time.
It is apparent to me that I've always had a relationship with God, though that relationship has been strained more than once. If God were capable of frustration, I imagine He would have been frustrated with me many times. But I don't think I was ever truly disobedient in the way we defined it. I now understand something deeper. I no longer believe that in my strength can accomplish or produce anything spiritual using a carnal mind or physical tactics. This kind of revelation required a spiritual mind to receive. And only a spiritual solution would change the vision I had of myself and my connection with a supernatural God. There were so many times I asked myself, why does He even bother with me? But still, He was always there waiting patiently, waiting for me to snap out of it, to remember who I really am and to just simply be. The more I awaken to God's blueprint for my life, the more I understand the design behind the construction of this experience I call life. I'm gonna do my best to let Him tell this story through me. I love and respect God deeply, and I never want to lead anyone astray through my own words or actions. What you're reading here is my opinion, and how I formed that opinion. It's important that you seek your own truth. Don't take my words as final. Let my experiences encourage you to ask your own questions and find your own answers. I've always tried to be myself. I've never pretended to be something I'm not. I can't deny that God has done amazing things in my life. I've seen miracles, I've sensed His presence, and His reality has filled me with awe. I know God exists. I am aware of His power, presence, and ability to move in the physical world. Even if it's not yet apparent, He is presently making an impact on your life. And He will continue working in you until this physical body is gone and your spirit fully awakens to its true identity. Would you like to know how God sees you? He has given me a story to tell. I can't deny the evidence of purpose in my life. He nudged my spirit and told me to write this account. So here I am, surrendered to His will, doing what He asked me to do. Before I take you deeper into the pages of this book, I want to speak to your heart as well as your mind. This journey we're about to take isn't just about reading words. It's about opening a door. So simply sit back, relax, be open to new things, and most importantly,
Be a participator. Understand that everything I speak about in this book is available to you through the Spirit that is already within you. Decide right here and now to give me the benefit of the doubt. Let me take you somewhere new. Give yourself leave to think. It's possible. There's something to the spiritual experience. Deep down at the bottom of your heart, you already know there has to be more to this life, but you're not living it. You've possibly looked at yourself in the mirror and considered there's something else inside of me, something more. But I can't see it. You've searched for it, you've sensed it. Clearly, the puzzle is unfinished. But what is that thing? Whatever it is, you haven't been able to grab hold of it. You perceive it, but you can't quite grasp it. You may be in a situation right now where you're uncertain about your belief in God. Perhaps you believe, but you're unsure of your feelings about spiritual matters. Perhaps you want to believe in God, but you've been exposed to so many gods that you don't know which one is real or which one to follow. So let's pretend for a moment that I understand precisely what it is you've been searching for. Would you be willing to make yourself available for the duration of this book and see what happens? If this is only a book, and I'm only a man writing about things I've experienced, what do you have to lose? Just go along with it. Read it to the end. And if nothing changes, if you experience nothing different or walk away without any answers, you can move on with your life like you would after reading any other book. But what if? Just what if? You find exactly what your spirit has been crying out for all along. God help us. I never imagined I'd be telling anyone about some things I've experienced, let alone writing them for the entire world to read. Some things I'm about to share are unknown to even my closest friends and family. These are things I've kept close to my heart. Truth be told, I have talked very little about these experiences with anyone. Most people simply fail to understand. Let's be honest. Some might conclude I've gone mad. I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. My only purpose is to make these words and experiences available to you. For the record, I'm completely sane. What I've learned is this: a closed mind can't be pried open. God doesn't force his way into your heart or your thoughts. And neither will I. It is unclear to me why God has allowed me to experience these things. I didn't ask for them. In all honesty, my experiences are what introduced me to some of these things. Once these encounters happened to me, at first I didn't know what to make of it. I didn't go looking for these encounters. The encounters found me. Only God knows the reason. But here's what I know for sure. It wasn't because of anything I did to deserve it. I didn't earn it. He just showed me more of himself. And I simply looked. With that said, I want to take you on a journey. We'll begin in the wilderness of physicality, and then slowly step into the deep waters of the spiritual things of God. The God I acknowledge as the only true God. I accept the fact that I will never fully comprehend all the ways of God. And I can say with full confidence that no mortal mind can fully comprehend God in His fullness. That's simply not physically possible. He's too big, too vast. We have to accept that truth. I'm also certain that we will know and experience much more than we currently do. A more profound spiritual existence is in store for us, one that God has always intended for us to live. Perhaps you have never opened a Bible. You may have opened it, but are unsure of its significance. You might be someone who knows a lot about religion, someone who spent years in seminary, or even someone who's experienced God but still doesn't fully understand Him. Perhaps a strange thing befell you, something inexplicable, and you're simply hoping to find someone else who's undergone a similar ordeal. Wherever you are on that spectrum, I am confident this book will bless you. Some of what I share may shock you, some may comfort you, but I am certain this will stir something in your spirit. So my suggestion is simple. Keep reading. May God ignite a fire in you, a fire that burns as bright and hot as the sun. And may that fire light up the world around you. I believe God wants to reveal Himself to you. I believe He wants to help you find your true identity and your purpose in this world. Or is this when you close the book quietly and say, nope, not for me? And I understand that too. But if something inside brings you back to this place again, I'll still be here in the pages of this story. And you can start where you left off, finishing what you started. But let me say this, these truths will change you. And when they do, you'll find peace in the journey.